let's start things off with, I believe it's called BIELSTEINER by nuggetboi, and this is one of the German tracks, and I think this is nuggetboi's second track ever, and man, this thing is actually really, really good. It's pretty challenging. There's a lot of elevation with a lot of ruts and a lot of bumps, and I've actually never heard of this track, but he said it was used for Motocross the Nations at one point, and for a second track, man, like the environment is so bright and vibrant. You guys know how I like that bright, vibrant kind of vibe, you know what I mean? Even the RD tracks, one of the main focuses for us is making sure that the skybox is bright and it feels good, and it just really, like these bright colors, you know, the greens and the blues with the bright dirt, it just, I don't know, it just feels better. And I really do like this track. It definitely seems like is more 450 friendly, but I guess he said that he did some testing on 250, or he tested all of the OEM bikes and it worked, and I could see that. It does seem like there are some jumps that could be pretty challenging, but what I really like about this track is this section right here. You really have to like slow down and kind of think about what you're doing, because you can very easily just oversend and end up, you know, all the way down the hill and have to come all the way back, and it would just be all bad, you know what I mean? But this track has been amazing. Let's move on to the next track, which is Hydra Hill. And what's amazing about this track is this is the guy's first track ever, and it's basically based off of his real life property, which is crazy to me. He says he's got 5 acres, and I don't think this track is actually on his property, but I think used MX bikes to see what he could do. And man, this track is really fun. It's really flowy. There are some huge jumps that you can absolutely send. And for a first track, again, man, this environment is so immersive and it's so cool. This is the only track I've ever seen where we ride through somebody's house, that you'll see here in a second. It does say that it favors the 250. I've ridden this pretty much only on a 450 and I've had no issues. You definitely have to like brake scrub some things and or, you know, scrub pretty hard. But man, if you're looking for a cool free track that's pretty unique, Hydra Hill is the one. And huge shout out to HYDRARETRO for being like a W on your first track, man. Very, very, very cool. And let's move on to our next track now, which is gonna be Mouse's version of Philadelphia Supercross. And boys, if you're looking for an easy, let's hop on and just rip around Supercross track, this is not it. This track is ruddy, bumpy, and extremely difficult. This, like, it can just get up and bite you just real quick like a little bed bug. Okay, anyway, but you know, I am always a fan of Mouse tracks. I think at one point or another, I have held a world record on every single one of Mouse's tracks, but hey, who is asking? Not me. But this is certainly not a world record lap. As you can see, I'm a little bit of a bot, but I am on the TM just for the vibes, you know what I mean? But if you're looking for a challenging, fun, and just W Supercross track, Mouse's tracks are just, man, they're just good. All of his line choices and just, oh, they're just so good. So definitely check this one out. Of course, all the links will be down in the description. Now, the next track we have is Patron's Test Track, or Patron's Test Track. I'm not sure because I was homeschooled, but we'll just go with whatever one comes to mind when I want to say it. And this is a Supercross track that is set up in the woods, and it's got a lot of line choice. It's, again, a nice, vibrant, bright track, which, you know, Donkey Wonky loves. And I know there's all the people that don't like me talking in third person, but you know what? It is what it is. Anyway, this track is very difficult. Actually, it's very picky, and the line choice is very important, but it is really, really fun when you get the vibe. Also, what is my controller doing? It's a little bit kind of derping out, and why? Anyway, yeah, this track is very, very enjoyable. If you're looking for a nice, free, soupy track that can really help you work on your timing, this would be one for sure that I would suggest. I love this, you know, split lane section here that just gives a couple little options. That's always what's really hard in Supercross, is a lot of the time it can be very one-lined, and soupy can feel very boring because you're just doing the same thing over and over. But that is certainly not the case for this next track, Sakura Hill by Consuming Clouds. And this is actually, I don't know, this track is insane. I'm just gonna keep it a stack of large pan kooglies with you. This track is actually wild. This is a track that I've never seen anything like this before in bikes. It is very Japanese theme. It's a sand track, but it's got Pokemon, it's got like Dragon Ball Z around it. It's very wild, and I'm actually here for it. I love Japanese culture, and one thing I will say, is I was actually, okay, we're working on some RD tracks, right? An RD Supercross track. Our next RD Supercross track is actually based in Japan. I want to say that we were working on that before I saw this track. So Consuming Clouds, if you see this, I didn't rip you off. I love you. This is such a W. I'm all here for it. Japanese culture is just so cool, in my opinion. You know, I love it. This track is very fun. It does get a little toy and technical right here, as you can see, but you can see the Pokemon as I just went by. Also, who's your favorite Pokemon? And if it's not Onyx, what are you doing? Anyway, yeah, this is just awesome. The environment's cool. I really love seeing this kind of like different fantasy type environments, but like it's not too over the top where it feels like I'm playing in Mario, you know what I mean? Like it's just a W. Consuming Clouds killed it, and the track itself is really fun. It flows really well, and the ruts are good, the bumps are good. It's just a W, and when there's a W, it's a W. I don't know what that means, but all right, let's move on to the next. The next track is Steezy's Philadelphia, and I really just put this in here to show some appreciation to old Steezy because he's been grinding out Soupy tracks all year, and he's just been dropping them for free, and you absolutely love to see it. His tracks are really fun. They're pretty challenging, actually. They don't seem very difficult when you look at it or when you first get on, but to go fast on these tracks, they're pretty technical and they are pretty difficult. And I just want to say thank you. It's really cool to see people just grinding out free tracks and giving back to the community. Now, if only the community would use them instead of Walnut and Farm the whole time. Listen, sorry, I got a little frustrated there, but that's a whole nother subject. But this track is amazing, and you definitely should check it out. Now let's move on to yet another absolute banger of the month. And the banger is Stone Point by Buzz COOKSEY. Why is my controller derping yet again? Not sure. Anyway, moving on, and this is a replica from MX vs ATV Reflex. Some might say MX vs ATV Reflex is the greatest motorcycle game, motocross, motorcycle, you know what I mean, game of all time. Personally, not too sure about that. I like MX bicycles, but this track is really good. This is now, unlike some of the other Soupy tracks we've used in this video, this track is really good for beginners. This track is, oh my gosh, I get a little sketchy there, but this track is perfect. As you can see, there's no ruts, corners are very wide, jumps are very simple and easy, but you know, it'll still teach you that kind of what's it called, little rhythm type sections, you know, getting the flow going. And it is pretty good for pub racing because the corners are so wide. You can absolutely get your inner Vince Freezy going for sure and become the least favorite person in the lobby. But or you could just, you know, not do that. But moving on to yet another Supercross track, and that is going to be Sundown Soupy. And boys, this track is, I'm going to say this track's hard, okay? Look at these jumps. It's like jumping over the freaking peaks of Everest, all right? I was going to say Twin Peaks of Everest, but I'm not sure if there's one or two because I was homeschooled. But it is not, this is a tough one. But when you do get a flow, it is very, very enjoyable. These little on-offs, they do be booting you, so be careful. I think this track on a 450 would be crazy. I'm on a 250 in this video, and yeah, like I said, it was pretty challenging. But man, I gotta say, visually, I love this like sunset with the lights, and he's got a little bit of like a glisten on, you know, it's like he put a little bit of glaze on the dirt, and I like the glazed dirt. Remember Stone Rider's glazed donut track? Yeah, it's not quite that bad, but it is very good. Anyway, boys, that is gonna wrap up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I love you. Thank you for watching, and thank you for all these track creators for putting out absolute bangers month after month.